Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to cap some football games. As promised, we're going to go through the entire Week 1 slate here. First game up on the docket, 1 o'clock. The Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Buffalo to play the Bills. This line's at 6.5. Your over-under is at 48.5. Now, Pittsburgh did have a number 3 defense last year, and Buffalo had the number 2 scoring offense. I feel like this game's a lot closer than the spread indicates. I feel like it's just going to be one of those slobber knocker, drag them down, pillar to post type of games. The only play I think we can make here is on the under 48.5. I like the under because even if this is a 2-touchdown game for Buffalo, if it's a 31-17 win for Buffalo, that under is going to cover. If it's closer, field goal, 2 field goal game like a 27-21, that's still going to cover. Next, we have New York Football Jets traveling to the Carolina Panthers. The spread's sitting at -4.5 in favor of Carolina and an over-under of 44.5 points. I'm going to take Carolina and I'm going to lay the -4.5. The Jets won 2 football games last year. Now, they should be much better with Robert Saleh coaching the team and Adam Gase out of town, but still give me Carolina here. This Carolina team lost many games in the fourth quarter by 1 possession. They're getting Christian McCaffrey back now. We have Sam Darnold coming from the Jets. Revenge game added Robbie Anderson, who used to play with the Jets. They already have chemistry. DJ Moore. And the Carolina defense is underrated. They're going to have future Pro Bowlers on this team, like Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, Deontay Jackson. And Carolina did use their first-round pick on J.C. Horn, cornerback from South Carolina. I love Carolina in this game. If you think 4.5 is too much, you can go ahead and grab an alternate spread of the -2.5. So if they win by a field goal, they still cover. A little bit more juice there, 170. On the 1 o'clock game schedule, Jacksonville Jaguars head to Houston to play the Texans. This line's been floating around 3 and 2.5. Looks like it might actually go to 3.5 in Jacksonville's favor. Over under 45.5 points here. Now, this game is one of the hardest games on the slate to predict for me. Jacksonville had the 31st ranked defense last year and the 30th offense. There's only 32 teams in the league. This team almost checked the box on both for being dead last. Now, they did bring in new coach Urban Meyer, drafted Trevor Lawrence. They do have players on the outside that can put up points and help. Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark, brought in Marvin Jones. Obviously, Travis Etienne went down, but James Robinson was great last year. He's going to fill that role again. As far as the Texans, I'm not as far down on this team as a lot of other people are. I think Tyrod Taylor is a decent NFL quarterback. He was starting for the Chargers until a medical staff member punctured his lung trying to give him a shot. Justin Herbert balled out. Now he finds himself in Houston. But at the end of the day, it is hard for me to back Houston here. There's no beat reporters in Houston coming out with any great news stories about this team. It's going to be tough. I think the under is the best way to look at this too. This could be just some bad football between both of these teams. If this is a 24-21 game, this under hits. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Tennessee to play the Titans. A spread of 3 points. It's basically where it's been all week. It's probably where it's going to be come game time. And a total of 52.5 points, one of the higher totals for the week. Now, the Titans had the number 4 scoring team last year. Defense was not very good. Arizona, top 15 offense and defense. Tennessee won, I believe, 12-4 to the over last year. I'm going to take the over here again. I don't know what the defense has done to help from last year. Arizona, we know, can put up points. I feel like this could definitely be a 30-24 game. Give me the over. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons. Spread on this game is 3. It was floating around 3 or 4 during the week, and an over-under of 48.5 points. Now, I will be taking the over on many of these games the Eagles and Falcons play this year. I don't think either one of their defenses is very good, and I know the offenses can put up points. But the bet I'm going to be making here, once it's dropped, it's not out yet, is the rushing props for Jalen Hurts. As soon as that prop is out, I'm hitting the over. It's probably going to drop somewhere around the 40 yards. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts over that prop. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Washington to play the football team. This is basically a pick'em, and the total is one of the lowest ones of the week with 44.5 points. This is one of the hardest games to handicap. Obviously, the Washington football team has an excellent defense. We saw all the trouble they gave Tampa in the playoffs, and Alex Smith and his one leg are now gone. You're going to have Ryan Fitzmagic throwing the passes. I believe that's an upgrade at quarterback for this team. They did sign Curtis Samuel. Once he gets on the field, he should be electric. As far as the Chargers, Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year, balled out. They should be great again this year. I have no real lean here, but for the sake of the video, I got to give you a pick. I'm going to go with the race to 10. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to score the first 10 points. My thoughts here are, this should be a defensive battle. It's going to be one of the only times we've seen Joey Bosa and Derwin James both edge rushing at the same time. That should give Washington a lot of problem, or any team in the league a lot of problem, if those two guys can stay healthy and play together. Fitzmagic, he might throw an 80-yard bomb and get this thing going. Chase Young might get a strip sack touchdown, but for a race to 10 where there has to be 2 scores, I believe the Chargers can put it together the quickest. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Detroit to play the Lions. 7.5 is the spread with an over-under of 44.5 points. Now, the Detroit Lions were 32nd in defense last year, and there's 32 teams in the NFL. Carry the 7 minus the 4. They were dead last. On the other hand, the 49ers are a lot of people's Super Bowl picks. They were decimated by injuries last year and still won a ton of games. George Kittle coming back, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa. This team was just destroyed with injuries. Everyone's coming back. Everyone's healthy. They're going to make a run at this thing. 7.5 doesn't seem like a lot in this comparison, but Motor City Dan Campbell's going to have these Detroit Lions flying around week 1, gnawing off kneecaps. Go ahead, give me the alternate spread. I'll buy the extra point. Just in case this is a touchdown game, we still cover. Alternate spread, San Francisco 49ers minus 6.5. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. This currently is a 3-point game. What's floating around 2.5 with an over-under of 50.5 points. Now, I do like Seattle here. I understand Indianapolis was a playoff team last year, and they did bring in Carson Wentz. But with the Quentin Nelson injury, the Carson Wentz injury, saying both these guys are going to start and play week 1, I know that's the report. How healthy are they going to be? Is Carson Wentz going to revert back to playing hero ball? I don't know. Just too many variables here. Give me a known commodity. Give me someone that I know in the fourth quarter, if we need a field goal to win this game, I can trust. Give me Russell Wilson. Give me the Seattle Seahawks minus the 3. If it gets to 2.5, great. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. 3-point game with a total of 47.5 points. Now, Minnesota did have the number 11 scoring offense last year. Guys like Dalvin Cook, Adam I Got a Thielen, Justin Jefferson breaking out in his rookie year, and Kirk Cousins with that if I die mentality just out there slinging the rock. However, Minnesota's defense was not very good, ranking 29th in the league, and we saw when Joe Burrow was in the game for Cincinnati, the offense was going, they were moving the chains and scoring points. Now, the side you probably want to be on here is Minnesota, but I can understand the argument for Cincinnati as well. For me, I'm going to be waiting for the Joey Burrow pass attempt props to come out. Joey Burrow was attempting 40 passes a game last year. Give me Joey Burrow. Give me the over on passing attempts. Next up, AFC East showdown game. Miami Dolphins travel to New England to play the Patriots. Lines right at 3 points with an over-under of 43.5. Now, I did go ahead and grab the Patriots at minus 2.5 earlier. Once it was known that Cam Newton was off the team and Mac Jones was going to be the starter, this line went to 3, and it's approaching 3.5 right now. I mean, listen, I love Brian Flores. I think the Dolphins do have a great team. However, Tua, you're going to have to show it to me, okay? If Bill Belichick doubles Mike Gesicki, who are you going to throw the ball to? Are you going to be able to hit Fuller? Are you going to be able to hit Waddle? Are you going to be able to hit these guys on the outside and push the ball down the field with what you struggled to do last season? You're going to have to show it to me. As far as the Patriots, this guy spent $150 million in the first day of free agency. They have returning opt-out players from last year, like a Hightower. All the new pieces that they brought in. Just feels like I got to be on the New England side of this game if I'm going to make a right bet. Next up, into the 4 o'clock games, we have the Cleveland Browns traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Line's 5.5. It was 6. Money is coming in on Cleveland, pushing that line down, and our over-under is 54.5 points. Now, a lot of people have very high hopes for Cleveland this year. The roster is awesome. On paper, it looks great. They added key pieces like a Jadeveon Clowney. The running game is awesome. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, those boys are going to eat. You have Odell coming back. And Baker Mayfield looked great in his 3rd year. Now, for me, I don't love this game, but it would have to be the Chiefs. Now that the spread's gone from 6.5 to 5.5, we don't have to worry about covering a touchdown. We can just make it a 2-field-goal game, still cash our bet. And I do want to bring up that playoff game where Cleveland played Kansas City very, very tough. But what a lot of people are forgetting was Patrick Mahomes got knocked out of that game and was hurt. He didn't play the whole game. With Travis Kelce, Cole Hardman, Byron Pringle, and a guy who wants to race Usain Bolt because he thinks he's faster, and Tyreek Hill, I think they can cover the spread. Give me the Chiefs, minus 5.5. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos traveling to New Jersey to play the New York Giants. Spread of 3 points, and an over-under, the lowest on the slate, at 41.5. Now, I did grab Denver earlier in the week when it was at minus 2.5. Now it's at 3. It's kind of that key number swap. But hey, if you still like Denver and they win by a field goal anyway, you push, you get your money back, you don't lose the bet. I just don't really like anything coming out of New York right now. Nothing good coming out from the training camp or from the beat writers. You got guys walking off the practice field and retiring. Injuries are starting to pile up again. I don't know if Kenny Galladay's healthy. We did just see Darius Slayton go down. We don't know if he's going to be ready or not. Saquon, big question mark. Are they going to reduce his workload? Is he going to get 20, 25 touches in this game? I don't know. What I do know is that Teddy Bridgewater is starting at quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater has one of the best quarterback records for against the spread. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints traveling to Jacksonville for this game as the Superdome is going over those issues from the latest hurricane. Now, the line in this game is 3.5 points in favor of Green Bay with an over-under of 49.5 points. We did see this total at 4.5 and 5 points at one point, so money's coming in on New Orleans, pushing it back down. This should probably be the correct line. This probably is a field goal game. The Drew Brees saga is over in New Orleans. It's Jameis Winston's team now. And we did see Jameis Winston dropping some absolute seeds out there in the preseason to one Marquez Callaway. Speaking of Mr. Marquez Callaway, he's going to have a huge first half of the season until Michael Thomas comes back. I don't have much faith in Traquan Smith. Alvin Kamara, he's going to have to roster most of the workload as well. As for Green Bay, the reigning defending MVP coming back. He's angry. He could be on a fuck you tour. This seems pretty easy to me. Davante Adams, 18 touchdowns last year. Just give me the Davante Adams touchdown prop. And you know what? Double down on that. Give me another bet. Davante Adams to score 2 touchdowns at plus 460. Next up, Sunday Night Football. We have the Chicago Bears traveling to Los Angeles to play the Rams. Line 7.5 with an over-under of 46.5. Now for Chicago, we should not see Justin Fields in this game. I don't know why they would want to lead him to slaughter like this. It should be Andy Dalton just getting his head bashed in behind that terrible offensive line. And Los Angeles Rams, which had the #1 defense last year. A lot of key pieces coming back. They should only be great again. On offense, they did bring in Matthew Stafford. I see that as an enormous upgrade over Jared Goff. I believe this is one-way traffic. Give me the Rams first half -4.5. Give me the Rams full game alternate spread -6.5. Now we come to the last game on the slate, Monday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens travel to Vegas. Vegas, baby. To play the Raiders. Baltimore's giving up 4.5 points with an over-under of 50.5. Now, if you made it this far into the video and watched the final game, I have good news for you. I had a dream last night that if anyone watched this video and liked this video, the gambling gods would secure a Week 1 profit. Now, as far as a pick on this game, I don't really like either side. I don't know what to do, but this is a pick show, so I'm going to give you the Baltimore Ravens race of 10 points. Baltimore to score the first 10. The Raiders' defense is terrible. I don't know what they've done in the offseason to make it any better, honestly. Lamar Jackson is electric. I think he can get touchdown, field goal, well before the Raiders do, and we don't have to worry about a backdoor cover or anything like that that could bite us in the ass in the fourth quarter. That was your full Week 1 slate. I'm Ron Burgandy. This is Burgandy Bets. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you like football, if you want to bet on spreads, overs, unders, anything like that, and drop me a like so I can continue to make these videos. Free content, people. Appreciate it.